Welcome to another session of the weekly forecast. The only reason why I'm doing the weekly forecast today is because we have a contract change, like a switch of contracts. So the values will be a little bit different. Okay. So right off the bat, we have all the three indices taking out the CPI's high based on the value of the new contract. All right. So looking at the weekly time frame, I'm looking for the previous highs to be taken. Previous weekly highs to be taken. So I'm going to mark out the weekly highs right here. Text previous week high. Let me just copy paste this. And then we have the previous week's low as well. That should be the drawn liquidity next week, or even this week if FOMC becomes really volatile. Previous week's low. Okay, so heading lower into the 4 hours time frame. Right here I have the different weeks segregated and different days as well. Okay, so on Tuesday I believe that we're going to range inside of Mondays, because Monday was an expansion day. But in general, it should follow the directional bias or the directional move of Monday itself. So I'm still bullish if I'm trading on Tuesday. Right. For Dow Jones, we have barely cleared this high just by a shallow run above this high. So I believe Dow Jones can go even higher today, like taking out Monday's high. So Monday's high would be the draw on liquidity for Dow Jones. Oh wait, why is this here? Oops, anchored to the wrong wrong weekly high. Okay, no wonder it's a little bit weird. Okay, let's drop into the 4 hours. Yep. So we do have some fair value gaps down here that we can utilize to send the price higher for all the three indices. For Nasdaq, you would probably want to use the wick as a potential long entry for today, Tuesday. So Wednesday we have FOMC. I believe that is going to be the manipulation, and I'm actually anticipating SMT between Q3 and Q2, with Dow Jones making a lower high, while Nasdaq and ES makes higher high into the Q2's weekly highs. Okay, so Q1 is right here. This is the first week of March. Right now we have Q2. So because we have an expansion towards the downside in Q1, first week of March, I'm expecting some stop hunts of Q2's high, and then we continue lower in Q3/Q4. If you don't get an SMT between Q3 and Q2, then I will look for SMT between Q4 and Q3. Very simple. Overall objective, overall narrative, and overall bias for the month is towards the downside still. The other scenario that can possibly play out is that we consolidate for the rest of the week. I mean, not the week, but for the rest of the month, because we do have the true open of the year coming in next month, which is the April's opening price. So you don't really want to push too hard. We're just like about 2 weeks left into the true open. So the true open is going to give us a better framework of where the yearly candle is going to move towards. Is it towards the upside or towards the downside? Okay, so right now I would just be trading within the range. I wouldn't be looking to external liquidity especially on Tuesday today, because we do have a large range day on Monday. Okay, but overall context, we are bullish, so I would only be looking for longs, even though I am looking at the lower time frames. Longs will play out better on Tuesdays, and it would play out better for Nasdaq, because Nasdaq has made a higher low right here prior to this move higher. Okay, but in the ultra short term, I guess ES would be a better pick between ES and Nasdaq, due to the fact that we have closed this candle right here stronger than this candle, and we have formed fair value gaps, whereas for Nasdaq there is no fair value gaps. So that is a sign of weakness as well on the 4 hours time frame. As you can see, this candle did not form a fair value gap as compared to ES, and the subsequent candle did not form a fair value gap as compared to ES. Let me check if I'm correct on this. The low of the 2 p.m. candle comes in at around 5725.5. Okay, we don't have a fair value gap right here, so it just invalidates my point, but we do have a fair value gap right here. Okay, so I'm going to utilize this as a form of strength, whereby we have a bullish fair value gap created for S&P, yes, but not on Nasdaq. Now for Dow Jones, we can clearly see that this is the most bullish asset in this run higher, even though we have the SMT on the lows, with Dow Jones making a lower low right here. Okay, so because I don't really trade Dow Jones, if you do, you can. It is the most bullish asset among the three, and second would be ES, third would be Nasdaq. Okay, so as you can see right here, we have closed below this 6 p.m.'s candle for Nasdaq, whereas we have closed above the 6 p.m.'s candle for ES. So this is indication of strength towards the upside, with Nasdaq willing to drop more. So if you're a scalper and you're trying to look for shorts, I guess the best short is going to be on Nasdaq instead of ES. Okay, now with that said, let's take a look at the daily candle to see if we have anything here. Okay, so far we don't really have anything. We only have the inversion fair value gap right here. This could be utilized as support to go higher into the previous week's high, and for Nasdaq it would be over here. Remember to include the volume imbalance. Alright, for Nasdaq, because it can trade into the 50% of the inversion before higher prices. Okay, for Dow Jones, we don't really have any inversion fair value gaps, so to speak, but let's take a look over here. This was the body that closed below the swing low. So if I were to force a fair value gap, we do have an implied fair value gap, which it closed above on Monday. So right now we're trading back into it, but try not to read too much of this, because it's a very tiny gap. Dow Jones can be quite volatile at times, so I don't really expect this small little tiny fair value gap to hold, but if it holds, then it's good. I would prefer to use the lower time frame fair value gap on the 4 hours right here. I think this would be clearer, right? And let's take a look at the 6 hours to see if we have anything. Okay, we do have a 6 hour fair value gap for both ES and Dow Jones. I think this is clearer in terms of the market structure, but if we are going to take out this candle's low, then NQ might make a lower low while trading into the tiny little fair value gap right here between these two candles. So yeah, that would be below the weekly open. Okay, And yeah, I think that's about it for this forecast here. TLDR, I am bullish. I'm looking for the previous week's high to be taken out before the second half of the week. FOMC is probably going to do that, because if FOMC does not do that, then we are going to do that after FOMC. So basically what I'm saying is this week's objective is the previous week's high. Okay, and yeah, that's it for this session here. I hope you enjoyed this, and good luck trading. I'll talk to you again.